Hey guys, Darkovika here, and it's been a long time since I did a book club video, or a video in general. I'm sorry the background of this video is going to be exceptionally boring. It's, my room. I was just sitting here. And so I mentioned in a previous video briefly that due to some very strange circumstances, I got into a weird pirate phase and just dropped everything and needed to read pirate books. I swear I have the attention span of a peanut. If it takes me too long to read something, I run the risk of becoming like momentarily obsessed with something else. I always come back. But yeah, this is one of those occasions. So it purely unrelated, like I was reading the Chinese books that I mentioned in a different video, and then went to sleep, had a completely unrelated dream about pirates, woke up and was like, I need to read pirate books. And I got everything. I have romance novels, historical novels. I have adventure fantasy novels. And one of the ones that I read that people recommended to me, I bought them all on Kindle so that I could save money. I saved them all. I got like 5 books. Which is 4 too many. I should not have bought 5 books at once, but alas, here I am. So one of the ones that I first started with was this one. Sorry, enjoy. Oh, good. Yes, I forgot that would be bad. That would be, flipped. It's called Bloody Jack, and it's technically a young adult series, but quite frankly, it is far and above what I was expecting. And I'm super amused because I believe the author was an older gentleman, Meyer. I know diddly squat about him, so don't come for me for that. I don't know anything about this man. Didn't even know he was a man until I got to the last chapter, because I was curious. It's basically a pirate story in which you follow a character named Mary Jackie Faber, who for a majority of the story, and I think basically the rest of her life, she goes by the name Jackie. And that's partly because she disguises herself as a boy. This is very early on in the story. This is not a spoiler. She disguises herself as a boy in order to work aboard a ship. And that's the entire plot of the story. So, that's the buildup for everything that happens after that. And if you've ever read The Song of the Lioness by Tamora Pierce, yes, Tamora Pierce. Now I need to reread that. Very good books. Tamora Pierce is, mwah. If I'm very rarely the type of person who's like, I'll read anything by a specific author. Tamora Pierce might be one of them. But yeah, The Song of the Lioness, if you've ever read that, it's a super similar vein and in a very good way. In both books, you follow a young woman or a young girl going through life and effectively, aging up into a woman. And they don't shy away from that topic, which I find amazing considering this book, Bloody Jack, was written by a man. And that sounds really bad, but like, a lot of the time, men tend to shy away from topics of being a female, such as periods, pregnancy, sex from the woman's perspective, partly just because it's hard for anyone to imagine something from like a perspective that they don't possess themselves, right? So it's super fascinating to me because this book really does not shy away from any of that. And it's young adult. The internet says its intended audience was ages 13 and up. And honestly, it's so perfect because it genuinely, he wrote from a girl's perspective, but a girl who's not really trying to not be a girl. It's a girl who is hiding as a boy due to circumstance, but is not ashamed of being a girl and truly thinks the world is being stupid about girls. And obviously this takes place in the, effectively, I think the 1800s or something, or the golden age of piracy. It's slightly ambiguous and is not like a historical novel. It's got, pirates that are made up and not a real ship and that sort of thing. So it's like ambiguously historical, but not. It's like a reality that you would recognize effectively. There are 12 books in this series, so I am in for a ride. And like many older young adult books, it does not read like a book. In the beginning, you think, okay, this is going to be a book for kids. And then you're like, oh, color me impressed. And it really steals you in. Like, it's so good. It does not feel like a book that is explicitly for 13-year-olds, but it still feels like a book that a 13-year-old would enjoy. It just also feels like a book everybody else would enjoy, if that makes sense. So it's just, I genuinely appreciated it because it tackled being a girl and the problems of being a girl, and yet still being incredibly brave and intelligent and strong, and not trying to be a man, which that's going to sound like a very complicated statement. But you find a lot of books today on people, either man or woman or any other, any other identity, writing about young girls growing up and trying to subvert the trope of femininity, but what they're instead kind of going into is making their women into men. And I'm not really into that either. And I think that's why I liked The Song of the Lioness and why I also like Bloody Jack a lot. That's because Jackie is a girl and she's not afraid to do whatever she wants, but she is still a girl. And she may like things that are stereotypical or may be considered feminine, but she's not afraid to do other things as well, which I think gives a more realistic interpretation or, look on what it actually is to be a woman, which is to just be whatever. Like, if you like pink, you can also like black. If you wear a dress, you can also wear overalls or, rubber boots and go mucking around in like the bayou or something. That was a really specific example, but like, that's kind of what I'm getting at. In some modern young adult books, you find this sense of like, a girl should not like feminine things or it will make her weak. She has to be like the boys. She doesn't wear skirts. She doesn't wear dresses or makeup or, any of those icky, frilly things because she's a tough girl. She's like the boys. And, that's not, that's totally valid. I'm sure there are girls out there who don't like wearing makeup or dresses, and that's right. That's valid too, but I'm getting into a whole subject that nobody should touch, but it's very complicated. The identity of a woman is not so easily defined, and in no way is this like the epitome of what it means to be a woman. But at the same time, it's a very good one. It's a very good depiction of being a girl, especially a girl in dangerous situations and not really making her out to be superhuman. She's very human in the books and sells herself short, but in a way that feels realistic, not like, oh, she destroyed an army of orcs and is like, oh, I'm so weak. Like unrealistic. It's, she shot someone and that feels, and everything following that is a very realistic reaction to it. It's a human accomplishment that doesn't feel too above her age range and yet is also still very commendable and very powerful and something that, she's recognized for. And so it's a very fine line and a very, very complicated subject that I really should not be going into because I don't even have a firm stance on it because there is no one identity for any gender, which we all know, but I digress deeply. The idea is it's a very, very good book, and I am so excited to read the rest of the series because it felt good. Oops, low battery. Don't know what that did to the video. Hopefully nothing. But yeah, it was just such a good book, and I hope that I can find physical copies of it because obviously I have it on Kindle. But I hope that eventually I can find physical copies of it. And I'm just kind of impressed that it was written by a dude. Like, I know that's kind of a sexist thing to say, like, a good author is someone who can subvert their own, point of view, and he probably talked to his wife, and if he had daughters, he probably talked to women, which is a thing that people can do, and probably had them proofread his work, which I believe other really good authors have also done. And so it has nothing really to do with gender. It's just like you come to expect things, right? Like there's the whole joke of men writing women, and then you come find something like this, and it's so good. It reminds me so much of Tamora Pierce in a lot of really good ways. So, recommend both, by the way. Go check out The Song of the Lioness, and then go check out Bloody Jack in either order. Bloody Jack is 12 books long. The Song of the Lioness is, I think, 4. So, keep that in mind. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to share with you guys kind of like, I read something, not the thing that I was supposed to be reading because I have the attention span of a peanut, and I read this in like 2 days. That's, unrelated to what I just talked about. That's kind of my issue, right? If I don't read something very quickly, I run the risk of me not finishing it increases tenfold, right? Like, I don't know if it's just my attention span or it's probably just that. Literally cannot, like, if it goes longer than a week, it's like 90% chance that I'm going to get distracted by something else, especially because my interests literally go all over the place. Like, I have so many interests. I think normal people have like, 3 and I have like 20 and I just jump between them all rapidly. Anyways, it's also why none of my series get finished on my YouTube channel, because literally if it goes longer than a week, even if it's a video game, it's still, the percentage chance of me not finishing it just skyrockets. And I'm beginning to accept that that's a part of me, and it's a flaw, but kind of a funny one, right? So I am a very fast reader, which is why I can usually get through things just fine as long as I focus and I read it very quickly. And no, I don't skim or anything. I just happen to be a fast reader, which thank God, otherwise I would never finish anything. It's like the thing that I had to pay for that superpower, right? I can read things very quickly. Like, I have some books in my Goodreads list that I finished in a day, but like, you'll notice that I also have a few other books that I started a long time ago that are probably going to stay where they are. So, that's just my attention span at work. I will come back to them when I make the rounds on my interest wheel. Anyways, I digress. Please let me know what you guys have been reading. I would love to hear. Hopefully I will be able to do at least a weekly video of book club stuff and talk about things that I'm reading. And you guys can tell me things that you are reading and tell me what you think of all the books. And please go to libraries. Like, libraries are an amazing place to go. Probably could have gone to a library. Didn't. Ah, well. Well, okay. I have an attention span problem with library stuff too. So there's a very good chance that I just wouldn't turn in books. So, yes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for always being present. I genuinely appreciate all of you who watch the videos on my alternate channel as well. Seriously appreciate you folks, and I appreciate everyone who stays here. I just appreciate, there's a lot of appreciation. Thank you. I love you guys. Bye.